So I really didn't want to see this movie, mainly because of this kid. Just the shot of this kid, and I'm like, nope, no thank you, I'm good. Smile 2 stars Naomi Scott as Sky Riley, a mega superstar singer who struggles with addiction and chronic pain from an injury arguably brought on by her own addiction. Sky comes across someone infected with the monster/demon/parasite who makes its way into her life from the first film in the way that you would expect from the first movie, seeing another infected person take their own life. The parasite starts following her around, making her see things that aren't there, including people with creepy smiles on their faces. She struggles with what's happening to her in the first hour of the movie until she's told what's happening by Morris, played by Peter Jacobson. From then on, it's a race to find a way to get rid of the parasite demon without killing her or anyone else. Smile 2 was directed by Parker Finn, who also directed the first Smile in the Now franchise. He also directed 2 short films, the Hide Behind and the South by Southwest award-winning Laura Hasn't Slept short. This short kind of spawned the Smile series and is sort of a prequel to the original Smile. It's actually on the Smile DVD if you haven't seen it, and it's about Laura's character who's in the beginning of Smile, played by Caitlin Stasey, and also here in the short film. It's a great short, and the whole reason that Parker was asked to do the first movie was because of this short. It's the reason the Smile franchise exists now. I think Finn is going to have a pretty big career after this movie. His directing style is very thoughtful for a horror movie. I'm usually not a huge fan of the horror genre because there are so many of these movies that are so bad visually, have no real story or character that you really care about, and a lot of them rely on cheap jump scares. And you usually see these jump scares coming from a mile away. Finn gives you a lot of character development to Sky, and Naomi Scott plays her absolutely perfectly. Her performance impressed me so much that even though it probably won't happen because this is a horror movie, she at least deserves an Oscar nomination. I know that's saying a lot, but she is so good in this movie. When you see the way she plays out the anxiety and confusion of her situation, you really feel it. Not just watching it happen to someone, but you feel it happening to you with her, which is really rare. I felt that way the first time I saw Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs and Kathy Bates with her psychotic character Annie in Misery. Naomi's performance is worth the price of admission by itself, and watching her play a sort of hurting, overwhelmed pop star is really interesting. I think this movie would have been interesting even without the monster. This movie really represents the price that you pay for fame and recognition. From the crazy fans to not being able to go out in public. There's even Sky's mom, who's also her manager, played by Rosemary DeWitt, who seems only concerned about Sky's career and the money behind it. There's a scene where Sky is signing autographs and taking pictures with the fans, and you can feel the anxiety from Sky and the uncomfortableness of being around hundreds of people who are strangers, but who think they know her intimately because of her music. The way this scene is acted and directed makes it feel very authentic, when it could have easily been a cliche that you see in a lot of movies just about fame. Parker Finn did a lot for this movie to make it feel very realistic, casting Naomi Scott, who is also an amazing singer, and she recorded all the songs in the movie made for the film in studio, and it feels very organic and real. In my opinion, it surpassed what M. Night Shyamalan did in his movie Trap. I know the storylines are very different, but the convincing pop story that Sky is doing in Smile 2 is leaps and bounds better than Trap's pop star character. The directing in the first, I want to say 10 minutes of the movie had me really hooked. It starts off 6 days after the events of the first film, and the way that it's shot is like an action film, and it works really, really well. The movie slows down a little after that scene so that we get to know Sky, and that was okay with me. I like that. I love that he gives his character time to breathe, and time so we get to know who she really is and was, so we care about her, and we want her to get through this. And again, I felt like I was going through it with her. I really felt for her, and she felt like a real person. Scott plays Sky in a way where she looks perfect to her fans and on stage, but we get to see this mess that she really is off stage, and she plays it so convincing. I could do a whole review just based on her performance alone. It's funny because I didn't want to see this movie at all. I did see the first Smile a few days ago and thought it was pretty interesting. It was pretty good. I liked it. The story was great. The end left me a little unsatisfied, but I was okay with it. I wanted more explanation of what this parasite actually was and why it needed to follow people around until they killed themselves or someone else. What was it getting from all this? The second film doesn't explain much of anything either, but with this movie, I didn't mind it as much. This movie, compared to the first one, is much bigger with a bigger budget and a lot more gory scenes. I'm not a huge fan of the violent, gory movies. It's not something that I really enjoy, but that's kind of the thing now. But this movie has the acting and story to back all that up. It also relies on a lot of jump scares, which are kind of cheap and lazy to me. But when the first one happens, it is predictable and you're thinking, okay, so it's going to be this type of movie. But the jump scares after the first one are actually really cleverly done and purposeful. I rarely jump out of my seat during these types of movies, but this one, it really got me. The director may have just revolutionized the jump scare into something purposeful and really fun. I really enjoy this. I don't get scared easily, but this one had me going a little bit. Ray Nicholson, son of Jack Nicholson, who plays Paul, Sky Riley's ex, was fun to watch in the few scenes that he did have. He has that Nicholson smile that is perfect for this movie and was just a lot of fun to see. Finn had Susie Bacon, daughter of Kevin Bacon, in the first film, and now he has another famous actor's kid in this movie. I thought that was kind of cool, and I hope that we'll get to see him in a really good leading role sometime soon. There's one scene that really stood out to me. It felt so new and fresh. It's with these guys, her dance team. The psycho-like choreographed, I don't even know how to describe it without spoiling it, was very memorable and creepy to say the least. And I really enjoyed every second of that scene. There wasn't really much to complain about this movie at all, other than I would have liked some explanation about the parasite monster, but that may be part of the fun, not knowing. The only thing that did drive me a little nuts was the product placement for this movie, the Voss water. This bottle of water shows up 11 to 12 times in the movie, and it's not subtle at all. The label was out when Sky's drinking it. The camera follows a bottle that she puts down, and then when it shatters on the floor after being thrown by someone or something, the glass with the label is the only thing intact and not broken. So you could see that it was a Voss water bottle. Smile 2 has an incredible performance by Naomi Scott, directed by an up-and-comer who really knows what he's doing. The story is interesting, and the action is really great. It's suspenseful, and the jump scares are there, but they're purposeful. It's a little slow at times. The film does clock in around 2 hours and 12 minutes, which may be just a little long for this movie, but I really didn't notice. This is a movie that you'll want to see with a bunch of people in a theater. The sound mixing is a huge, huge part of the movie's success, and you'll want to hear it in Dolby Digital. That's why I'm giving this movie 7 Voss water bottles out of 10 until I get a better rating score. Let me know what you thought of Smile 2 if you've seen it, or what you thought of the original. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, don't wait till it streams. Support your local theaters, and let's see it together.